Every drop has a purpose. It nurtures more than just our gardens. Protect what connects us. Conserve what sustains us. Because water is life.
I am running for the seat because I want Miami Gardens to continue to be a place where families can build a life, where our youth see opportunity for themselves, and where our senior citizens feel valued. You know, I truly believe that if we focus on the quality of life today, that we can build a much stronger city for the next generation that chooses to call Miami Gardens home. I'm running to protect residents. I'm running to protect services. I'm running to protect the quality of life of Miami Gardens.
Hi, I'm Katrina Wilson, and I am running for school board member, District 1. I've been a lifelong educator for more than 30 years, and I have served in Miami-Dade County Public Schools for almost 40 years. I think that I have a depth of knowledge about education and an experience. Education is the gateway to the future. I think it allows you to dream.
Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your uncle's aim. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap.
What does Miami Gardens mean to me? Home. Miami Gardens is home. I remember riding on the back of dirt bikes where Joe Robbie Stadium is and just watching the growth and the maturation and the glow up, if you will, of the city. It makes me proud to be a son of the city, and it makes me proud that I was able to raise my sons in the city, and then my sons can come back and raise their sons in the city. That's why I'm running. I'm not running for me right now. I'm running for the next generation and putting policies and institutional pieces within our city that will be there long after my term is over, long after my life is over, and I'll continue to serve the people of Miami Gardens and pour back into the same community that made me, that built me, that made me who I am. That's what Miami Gardens means to me. Home.
Hello, everybody. I'm endorsing Oliver Gilbert because he has always delivered for us, raising wages, delivering paid sick leave, and passing a law to lower water rates.
I'm Oliver Gilbert, and I approve this message because from supporting the 5,000 Role Models program to standing up to Trump, I'm ready to carry on the legacy of Congresswoman Wilson.
Trust me, we need Oliver Gilbert in Congress.
This was awesome. Thank you for tuning in. So without further ado, I would love to jump into our first interview of the night. I've been really excited to have this conversation. You guys will see for many different reasons. And actually, me and him go, oh, we met probably 10 years ago. Wow. We met a long time ago. But you know what? Happy to see him in this light. And there's a little connection here. We're going to talk about it, y'all. Without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show longtime community advocate and educator and just doing amazing things in the community and just also a friend of the show. Welcome, Mr. Paul V. Wilson. He's running for Miami Gardens City Council seat 2. What's up, Paul?
Sis, what it do? I made it. I made it. Mama, I made it. I made it to the Can We Talk podcast. I'm excited. Super excited.
Me too. Look, Paul.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Talk about mamas. Can we just get into it off real?
That's where we starting. That's where you want to kick it off at. All right, we cool. We can start there. That's fine. What's up?
And Paul, only because here's the you didn't even know that I had got that ad in today. I was like, Paul, I'm just letting you know. Okay, so for those who may not know, Paul, amazing himself, has his own resume, but he comes from a political legacy. Miss Congresswoman Queen Frederica Wilson is his mama. Did y'all know that?
That's mama.
That's mama. Look, you know what?
That's the old girl. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you so Miami saying the old girl.
I've been calling her that since, and I call her that in public. It's a thing with us. So yeah, that's the old girl.
I love it. You know, boys usually look like their moms. Oh, I see the cues don't enter into the chat. Okay, and that purple in the back definitely gives it away.
Not a virtual background either. That's real. That's my real office wall. That's not a virtual background.
Definitely. And yes, he is his own man. You know what, Paul? Like I met you like in the education space. I think we were at a conference and just always been a really solid guy. And I think my memories came up and you were doing some community work against like gun violence. And I was like, Paul, look at this article we did like 8 years ago. So you know, before we get into, I want to get some more people in the chat. Hopefully, can you tell your mama to watch it, please? Can you tell her I love her?
I sent her the link to tune in, man. She technologically savvy, so she'll tap in. I don't know if she gonna get in the comments, but she definitely gonna tap in and watch.
Look, if she watching it, tell her that you got to let me know what she thinks of it because I just love her down. But you know, before we get into that of it all, you know what? Let's give the people this. For people who may not know you, if this is their first time, their introduction to you, tell them who you are when the cameras are on, and you know why you decided now was the time to run.
Oh, you say who I am when the cameras aren't on?
When the cameras aren't on.
I'm the same person whether the camera's on or not, man. I'm Paul Vincent Wilson Jr., born and raised in the county of Dade, right here in Miami, Florida. I went to born at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital. You too young to even know what that is.
I don't even know what that is, Paul. What is that?
But the people of my generation in the chat, it's University of Miami Hospital now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was Cedars of Lebanon. That's where, you know, I was born in the late 70s, raised in the 80s, teenager in the 90s at the start of the crack epidemic, when you had a few choices for young Black males like myself. He was either hooping or rapping or selling dope. So I chose rapping. Rapping was something that's how I even got, you know, when we connected later around the music. You know, it started back then. Shout out to Rock House Studios, Herbert Rhodes over on 7th Avenue, 151st Street. Saw something in a group of young males that decided to choose a different route and kind of stay away from what we were seeing on the block and what we were seeing on the streets, man. And did that, graduated from Turner Tech, first graduating class of Turner Tech, went to FAMU. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Go Rattlers. I know I'm not a Rattler, but that's what y'all do, right? I know it's a few Rattlers in the chat. Give us some snakes in the chat.
Yeah, man. Went to FAMU. I'm a Humphreys baby, so I was there during the President Frederick Humphreys era. Graduated in 2000. Came back, you know, started my career with Miami-Dade County Schools at the Juvenile Justice Center. I taught in jail, you know, giving young men a second chance. I was 20 years old coming out of college, and I figured that was the best place where I could plug back in and start pouring back into the community. And I figured those were the young men that needed me the most. So I did that, moved from there to different schools within Miami, Golden Glades Elementary School. I was then hired by the Florida Department of Education as a reading specialist. So I traveled the country teaching literacy as a process and differentiated instruction. Came back to Miami when that grant was over. I served as a chief of staff for then school board member Dr. Wilbert T. Holloway. So I served down in that capacity, writing policies, that kind of thing. From there, I did my school-based administration. And then I came back to Miami. I did my school-based administration in Broward for a couple of years. Okay. I was at Hollandale High School. Shout out to Hollandale High School, man. Hollandale High School, South Broward High School. Then I came back to Miami-Dade as the executive director of the Office of Community Engagement. and the Parent Academy. So I was over parental involvement for the entire district, and community engagement for the district, and then was later promoted to one of the chief negotiators in the Office of Labor Relations. So I negotiated the labor contracts with AFSCME, with UTD, with FOP, with all of our unions. That was serious work, right? I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about relationships. I learned a lot about compromise. I learned a lot about how to move something from an idea to actual implementation to produce results, right? So this is the work that I've done. From there, I moved, I was in school operations. I was over dropout prevention for a little while. And I had the honor of heading up and being the administrative director for the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project. We had, at that time, 110 chapters across Miami-Dade County, servicing about 9,000 young men, exposing them to what we wanted them to do through our college tours, and really exposing them to what we didn't want them to do through our prison visits and whatnot, just trying to help these young men down that perilous path of manhood. And then from there, I was in the Department of Special Programs, where I was in charge of safety and emergency preparedness for all the schools in Miami-Dade County. So, and the kids in DJJ custody and DCF custody, and a part of the human trafficking trade and our homeless population. So it was really a full circle moment for me, having my career start there and then having my career with Miami-Dade Public Schools end there. And for the last 9 years, I've been working for an educational consulting firm where I work with large school districts and state departments of education, where we do comprehensive needs assessments. We look at a system from A to Z, from finance, operations, facilities, et cetera. We identify bottlenecks, we identify inefficiencies, we identify wasteful spending. We create an action plan around those things that we identified, and then we help that district or that state department of education implement that plan so that they're no longer wasting money or have bottlenecks or inefficiencies in their system. So that's my husband of 22 years. My wife and I just celebrated our 22nd anniversary this past Saturday. Thank you. Black love. Absolutely. I'm a father of two. My oldest son, Tristan, graduated from Miami Norland Senior High School in 2024, led them to their 7th state championship in basketball. He now plays Division I basketball, full scholarship, graduated with a 4.5 GPA, summa cum laude, top 5%. Very proud of that young man. My youngest son is a point guard at Miami Norland Senior High School, following right in his brother's footsteps, straight A student. Very proud of both.
And he goes to what school? You broke up a little bit.
Miami Norland Senior High School.
Oh, okay,
right
okay.
Beautiful city of Miami Gardens, my zone neighborhood school. Yes.
Oh gosh, so you're gonna wake the Vikings up. Okay, y'all girls. Okay, y'all.
Shout out to Miami Norland Senior High School and the beautiful, wonderful principal, Ms. Rhonda Gaines Miller. She has done a fantastic job at creating such a culture that embraces and envelops those kids in love, in confidence and encouragement. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to Viking Nation, man. Viking Life. We here.
That's what's up. Look, and honestly, Paul, you kind of like really gave us your resume, because that was going to be my next question. But I want to pivot just a little bit, because as we talked about, the legacy of politics and really public service in your family, and even when I met you like 10 years ago, I don't even think that was something that you were even talking about, like what you wanted to do. So I would love to know, why now? Like what was the catalyst for you that said, now I would like to step into public service? And honestly too, like watching your mom in public service for all of these years, what is it, like 30, 40 years at this point? Like, what made you like say now versus like, was there ever a time when you saw her doing this that you wanted to do it? Was it like always a timing thing, or was it like I want to know, like, what was that thought process for you to say, now is the time for me to run? And also too, why the city of Miami Gardens like a city council seat? Because really you could have kind of had your pick of the litter, really. Like let's be clear.
Yeah, so it's interesting when you live a life of someone that kind of, when people are asking you your entire life when you go following somebody else's footsteps, right? So for me, you said you didn't even know it was something I wanted to do. It was something that I always wanted to do, but it wasn't about my timing. It wasn't about mom's timing. It wasn't about any of that. It was about God's timing, right? I had work that I needed to put in first. I wanted to build my own resume, stand on my own work, pour into the community in my own way, right? I had to pour into my sons. I wanted to make sure that my sons were getting the support that they needed, and that I was the father that I wish I had coming up, right, for them. So I knew that because of how I grew up with my mom as she went on her meteoric rise through politics, oftentimes my sisters and I would have sacrificed. You know, I know what that feels like, and I know what that looks like, and I didn't want to necessarily put my sons through that, because I knew I needed to pour in them in a different way. Growing up as two young Black males in America right now, I needed to pour into them a different way. So I wanted to put this work in first, but I've been doing community service and public service my whole life, right? Education is exactly that, right? Is helping families raise their children, right? Is helping families create opportunities for their kids. And so for me, those two things aren't separate and apart, right? Those things are all encompassed for me. And when you ask, like, why now and why Miami? Because I wanted to do it the right way, Jay, right? Like if this was for me, like I hear the people talking, you know, like I may not respond to what the people say, but I hear the people talking, right? And I've heard different things around, like, you know, he's just doing this to get this, or just because of his mind, all this. If that was the case, like you just said, I would have done this 20, 25 years ago, right? If I was gonna connect to her coattail and just be like, oh, you leaving here? Let me slide up in here. Let me, you know, but that to me is not the way that I want to contribute in public service, right? I want to make sure that when it's all said and done, Paul Wilson stands on his own, right? I can't apologize. I couldn't pick who I was born to, right? Like I couldn't pick my parents, right? And I don't apologize for, you know, being her son, and I am unapologetically proud, and I'll say it at the highest of mountains, right? Unapologetically proud of the legacy that she created and that, you know, I stand on. I mean, like as parents, isn't that the whole point, right? That, I mean, that's why I'm working. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because when I'm dead, I want my sons to be able to say, my dad did something, right? My dad made a difference in this world. And I think for all parents, I think that's the whole goal is to create a legacy that your children would be proud of, proud to carry on, proud to stand on, proud to talk about. So for me in Miami Gardens, I mean, this is the city that raised me, right? This is the city I grew up in. This is the city that, you know, my wife and I decided to build a life in, you know, bury roots and whatnot. We decided to build a house in Miami Gardens. We could have built a house in Pembroke Pines or Miramar or wherever else everybody else was saying that you needed to go to get away from, you know, get away from the hood. You got to get away from Murder Garden. This is back in you know, 2009, 2010, right? So it was always you're gonna build a house there. Yes, I'm gonna build a house there because I believe in that community. That community is the community that created me, right? The teachers who believed in me, the coaches who challenged me coming up, the mentors who poured into me before I even knew what a mentor was, right? And the neighbors that looked out for me and that kind of thing. It helped shape the person who I am today. And I think that there's a responsibility that comes with that, pouring back into the community that pours so much into me. I'm a resident here. I'm a homeowner. I'm a taxpayer. I live in one of the highest tax districts in Miami Gardens, right? So I feel the same flooding issues. I feel the same traffic. I feel the same pain that my neighbors talk about in regards to their quality of life. And I think that the skill set that I bring with that mix of executive level experience, leading large initiatives across the school system, writing policies that have impacted thousands of families, negotiating multi-billion-dollar contracts, and improving people's quality of life. I think that same skill set is applicable to what it'll take to make sure that Miami Gardens continues to elevate, continues to be a place where families can build a life, where our youth see opportunity, where our seniors feel valued, and where people aren't being priced out because of people coming in, right? We got to make sure that Miami Gardens remains ours. I remember when Joe Robbie Stadium was a field of white sand that people would dump trash on, right? No, I remember when Cherry Bay was the only place that people could live out that way, right? And just watching the growth of this place, watching this city grow up and glow up in a very, very short amount of time. You know, we know that there's more growth coming, and I want to lead Miami Gardens and elevate into that next frontier that we're going into.
Thank you. Thank you for breaking that down. And I'm going to switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about some of the issues and things that we hear Miami Gardens residents, bring up. I'll be watching the city council meetings, so I'll be hearing what they're saying. One of the issues residents consistently raise is traffic around Hard Rock Stadium during major events. What solutions would you support to reduce traffic congestions and improve the quality of life for nearby residents while still embracing the economic benefits the stadium brings to the city?
So yeah, I think, Miami Gardens is that stadium attracts, right, world class types of events, right? And we all know with world class events, you're gonna have world class headaches when it comes to traffic, when it comes to access, when it comes to all of this. The question becomes, because those things are gonna happen, right? The question becomes, is the community benefit from those events? Is the juice worth the squeeze from those people that are inconvenienced when those events come to town, right? And so as far as I can tell, and as far as I've heard from neighbors as I walk around and canvas and talk to people, they don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze, right? And part of that is traffic, right? And the Dolphins made a few decisions, and I think it's important to recognize that and clear up for some folks that may have a misconception around that stadium and who controls and owns and operates that stadium. That stadium is county property, right? Back when Joe Robbie made a deal with the county commission for a 99-year lease for $1 a year for that property, and he built that stadium. So the county controls that land. I think because it sits in Miami Gardens, a lot of people feel like Miami Gardens has a larger decision point in regards to what happens there, what doesn't happen there, as far as the events themselves are concerned, right? So just a misnomer on that. I think with the county, what the stadium did was they made a decision to eliminate a lot of the parking that was around the stadium, which did not stop the amount of people that were coming to the stadium. I think I heard a statistic that like last year, over 1.9 million people touched, Hard Rock Stadium in some way, shape, or form through whatever events that were occurring. And so when it comes to traffic mitigation is all about planning, right? It's all about planning. I told you what my background is. I told you what my work is now. Traffic mitigation is a big puzzle when you're thinking about, okay, where does it need to flow? How does it need to flow to create the minimal impact on folks that are not involved in this event or not coming to this event? How do we create the least amount of inconvenience? I'm not sure that the planning around these events come from that lens. I'm not sure that anyone is recognizing that kind of thing. I live here. I live by the stadium, right? So that's traffic I was talking about. I live in that. I live right off of 441. There's only one. The only way I could get into traffic is to touch 441 in some way, shape, or form. 441, 45-minute, hour-long wait to get to 199th Street when there's certain events happening, right? So I feel that, but it's about planning. It's about the light timings and all of the things. It's about extreme coordination with all of the municipalities that are going to be involved with traffic mitigation. That would be the county, that would be Highway Patrol or Florida Highway Patrol, that would be whatever other municipality the county decides to bring in. But that conversation needs to be transparent. That conversation needs, the residents of Miami Gardens are the ones that are being inconvenienced the most. Then their needs need to be at the forefront of those conversations and planning conversations. Now, there's going to be some traffic, right? Like there's no way that you're going to bring 65,000 people into a stadium and you're not going to feel some traffic. But I do think that stronger planning around that and stronger coordination can help alleviate some of that.
Carol, definitely well thought out. I think living over there, you definitely have sat in traffic and thought about how to fix this.
I done cussed a few times too. You know what I'm saying? In that traffic. Like, I'm just trying to get the CVS right here.
And I know because I have to come through that way a lot too from where I stay. So I totally get what you're saying. Just my next question is Miami Gardens continues to grow and attract new development. What is your vision for the city's future? What type of development do you support? And how would you balance economic growth with protecting the character of the existing neighborhoods?
So, for me, like, growth and development, in my opinion, should improve the life of the people that are already here, right? Development should bring jobs for residents, and local businesses should have like first right of refusal or whatever for contracts, right? Like, infrastructure should improve if you're bringing in more units or more people, like roads and drainage and lighting. It's all of that kind of stuff is impacted by development. So I'm in full support of smart development, right? Development that does not, create what some of the things that we've been seeing in regards to prices, in regards to affordability. I think I've seen a couple of developments coming in that have a set aside for public employees of the city of Miami Gardens, right? Now that number is 5%, which to me is, you bringing in something that has 250 units, you're talking 9, maybe, somewhere around that. I'm an ELA guy, not a math guy, but no, you're talking about like around 9% or so. So, I think that needs to be 15 to 20%, right? Now, those are the types of bold moves in tactics that we need to negotiate from a place of power when these developments are coming in. We need to make sure that, okay, if this is coming in, this is going to impact traffic, right? We just talked about traffic. This is going to impact traffic. This is going to impact lighting. This is going to impact parking, and this is going to impact public safety, right? All of these kind of things. It's not just, we're bringing more units for people. Well, can the people afford the units, right? Are people in a position to afford that? So I don't feel like we can accept growth that creates more pressure on residents and really don't give them anything in return. Development needs to really respect the neighborhood's quality of life, and that growth should create opportunity, not displacement.
Thank you. I see a question from actually one of a voter in your district, so I want to address it. As you know, live on Hilo News, we take questions from the audience. So this is coming from Tammy. I'm C2. North Miami has awesome programs for entrepreneurs in their city. If elected, how would you support growing entrepreneurs?
Yeah, it's funny. I served as a senior policy director in the city of North Miami recently, right? And so she's right. North Miami has a number of ways to support small businesses and growing businesses and entrepreneurship. And I think Miami Gardens is headed in the right direction with that, right? We have, like you said, we have the city center growing in development about to pop. And I think it's all about really focusing on the individuals that are here, the cogs in the machine that are in Miami Gardens that make our cities go. And those are those small businesses. Big businesses are great, right? But the small businesses are really the backbone of our city and what we do and how we move. So, I would be in full support of increasing the support that we put behind our small businesses, the opportunities that we provide for folks that have ideas around small businesses, right? Every great invention came from a problem, and we have a bunch of bright individuals in Miami Gardens that, have that entrepreneurial spirit, may have that hustle, they got the somewhat of the knowledge base. They just need someone to help them connect those dots and put them in the right rooms and introduce them to the right people and expose them to the right information so that they can get a leg up and get a start and put those skills and talents that they have to use, so.
Thank you
Yeah.
for answering that.
Yeah.
My next question is also still, based around our residents.
Mhm.
They often tell us they're concerned about public safety, property taxes, illegal dumping, and unpermitted campers or RVs being parked in residential yards. Of these issues or ones that you heard from residents in your district, which would be your highest priorities and what actions would you take to address them?
Yeah, so for me, and I've heard a myriad of those issues and folks talking about all kinds of things. For me, the one that stands out the most is public safety, right? Public safety is important for me because it's personal for me, right? In 2019, my wife and I and my sons, we were here in our home in Coconut Cay, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, we were victims of a home invasion robbery. Okay. And
Sorry.
as you can imagine, it was a very traumatizing experience, right? One that changed all of us forever, changed, how we feel about safety, right? Forever. Some of the things that we do at night, how we move, those types of things, forever, right? And part of the issue that night was, I would have liked the response time to be a little quicker than it was, right? And I know there have been some steps taken toward reducing the response time. I know that we just passed a historic contract with our police department that now brings us levels the playing field a bit in regards to starting salary so that we can attract and retain quality officers that were born and raised in this city, that understand this city, understand how to police this city effectively, so, and fill out our specialized units and that kind of thing, like robbery and homicide and those types of units, making sure that they have the officers that they need, reducing that response time. Public safety to me is the biggest factor in regards to quality of life that I hear the most from people. And public safety can mean a lot of things, right? It's not just as extreme as what I talked about. Public safety is making sure lighting is correct on the block, right? Making sure that in an area where folks are coming down the street 90 miles an hour doing donuts, that we do a traffic study and we put speed bumps where we can, right? We put other traffic calming measures where we can. All of that falls under the umbrella of public safety. For me, I told you I was in charge of safety for 400 plus schools. So my perspective around safety might be a little different than most because I understand what happens when you don't take the right preventative measures. I've seen the other side of when you don't move in a way that is proactive versus reactive. So public safety would be that thing for me.
Thank you for sharing your story for what happened to you guys. Just switching gears a little bit. Miami Gardens has seen tense moments during city council meetings, including disagreements between elected officials and exchanges with residents that have sometimes disrupted meetings. What does professionalism on the dais mean to you, and how would you help maintain decorum while still allowing residents to feel heard?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been in gladiator school for that my entire life. I mean, first of all, I'm the son of a congresswoman, so and the son of a politician that has always had to have thick skin when it came to people saying stuff about her, or like people that's like wearing hats on stuff and like may have a little torch or something. Like I've always had to deal with. I've always had to deal.
Oh, I love that you said that. You better read me about your mama. I love it.
Nah,
You better get me together.
we good, sis. But I've always had to deal with that kind of thing as a school teacher, right? I've always had to deal with parents who were upset about the fact that their child earned an F in my class or something like that. As a school leader, I've had to deal with parents who weren't happy about a child being placed in this teacher's class, or a teacher not being happy about something. I've always, I negotiated contracts with individuals across the table that, aren't always necessarily the most respectful, right? Because they are being the voice for thousands upon thousands of people that feel like they've been left out, that they've been shut out, that kind of thing, right? So my entire career has been about decorum and been about having to show a level of decorum and respect, right? I like to think of myself as a diplomatic disruptor, right? In every role that I've been in, I've had to shake things up, but I know how to do that without being disrespectful. I know how to do that without being condescending or taking someone's self-dignity away from them, because I don't feel like that's necessary. In fact, if you really want to get stuff done, that's not the approach. I couldn't come to the negotiation table, matching the same energy as some of the folks on the other side, right? We would still be arguing right now. So someone had to be the voice of reason, be the voice of compromise. One of the things we used to say is the perfect negotiation is when both sides are equally unhappy, right? Because that means I had to give something up and you had to give something up too, right? So we have more skin in the game. So I've been doing this my entire life, and I think leading by example on that dais, and I think it's fine for our public to be able to come in and express their frustrations and express their concerns and call people out by name. No, these are the people that we're truly accountable to, right? These are the folks that we're asking in a few days, and even right now with mail-in ballots and all of that, to bubble our respective vote numbers, right? So why wouldn't we want to hear? I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to call me out when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I've always asked people to do that my entire career. I've always asked my kids to do that in my classes. My wife called me out all the time when I'm wrong, right? I want you to call me out because I make room in my personal perspective to be wrong about something. That's something that I've learned over the years, how to do that, how to be able to put myself in someone else's shoes and see their anger and see their perspective in going to a situation, listening with the intent to understand versus with the intent to respond. And so because I've reached that level of zen, if you will, when I can hear that, respect it, understand it, and whatnot, I encourage it. I welcome it. I welcome it.
Thank you. If you're elected, what is one measurable accomplishment you hope residents will be able to point to 4 years from now and say that happened because of my council member?
Yeah. So for me, I'm all about creating institutional types of pieces that will be in our city and serving our city long after my term is over, long after a bunch of stuff is over. And one of the things that I'm really looking for, I'm all about pouring into the next generation, right? I feel like if we pour into the next generation in the youth in our city, that's how we create a strong city, right? As we get older and as we mature and as we age, as we pour into them and give them opportunities, that's how we create a strong city for our own. So one of the things that I look at is we can never start early enough, right? When we're talking about pouring in to the next generation. So one of the things that I'm looking to do is create programs that assist parents that are currently in VPK, but may not necessarily be able to afford the entire day for VPK, right? I would want to step in and pay the rest of that day for them, provide funding for them to do that. Qualified parents within the district, within the city, whatever it is, people who understand the importance of their children getting a full day of socialization and how important that foundation is. And on top of that, now this parent has an opportunity to get employment, right? Because she doesn't have to worry about, I got to go pick up my kid and watch my kid. Now you have an opportunity to be gainfully employed and be a part of the Miami Gardens machine. So pouring into that next generation and making sure that they have opportunities to in pathways, real career pathways in the city that they live in is paramount for me.
Thank you. And so now we're going to go to our audience. We had some few questions in there.
Cool.
One of them that came up during a previous interview that I just thought was a cool question, and I've been asking everybody, is about jazz in the gardens. And so the question is, what would be your dream lineup for jazz in the gardens?
Okay. Oh, so there's a different kind of question about jazz in the gardens. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, man. Wow, my dream lineup. So I told you, I was a rapper, right? And once a rapper, always a rapper, man. So I grew up on hip hop. Like, I was a freshman in college when Machiavelli came out, when Reasonable Doubt came out, right? I was a freshman at FAMU, Young Hall, room 104, with my windows up because my windows faced the library, the stairs that you would walk down between the set and the library. And I'd have Machiavelli bumping out the window, or I'd have Reasonable Doubt bumping out the window, or I'd have AT Aliens bumping out the window. So I'm a true like hip hop head. So my dream lineup at Jazz would be, I'm also a Miami 305 dude through and through, right? So my dream lineup would be, I say Poison Clan. Gotta have JT Money and the boys, you know, doing some of their greatest smash hits, right? Let me talk. I'll just say that. I won't name no names of songs, but Poison Clan doing
Poison Clan, okay.
I would love to have Outkast be there.
That'd be a good one, Paul.
Outkast fan. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have and then for the jazz, right? Jazz in the Gardens portion, because you know we kind of moved a little bit away from jazz. You know, the R&B kind of feel. I'm an old school guy. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan. You know, Stevie Wonder would be a part of that lineup for me. And the last person I'll say that I want to see on that lineup is a true Miami GOAT right here. It's Michael Sterling. You know, listen, Michael. My Place, them kind of songs, boy, I'd put them on many Maxwell 90-minute tapes where I had to stick the tissue in there so I could record over what was art. Listen, don't get me started, but that would be my dream lineup for Jazz in the Gardens. Michael Sterling, JT Money, and the Poison Clan got to be there. The Debonair, Drug, all them got to be there. It can't just be JT by. I need the original Poison Clan there. Stevie Wonder, you know, doing his thing, and we could close the night with Outkast.
Hey, I could tell you a music guy because you actually are like one of the few people who actually like gave us multiple artists and why. So I'm like, oh yeah, you definitely a music guy. You did this at one point.
I did. Prior to like YouTube and camcorder, like, you know, phones. But prior to all of that, yes.
That's so. So this question is from Soul by the Doc. Some residents in Andover said the new development is at a higher elevation. This has caused water to pool and flooding to occur for those in the original homes. How could you support them?
Yeah, so I'm if she lives in Andover, you know, I live right in Coconut Cay, so I understand that, you know, where we are, it used to be a golf course, right? So the elevation is all messed up all over the place. Like, is my neighbors across the street, when it rains, the water goes all the way up into their garage. On my side of the street, because we're on a slant, it only comes up halfway, right? So I understand the frustration around that, and I would stand with those residents in Andover as they, you know, try to connect with the developers, right? Because that's where we got to start first, right? These are the people who are building this development, and, you know, they did a land assessment, and they're supposed to level out the land the right way. So I would stand in solidarity to make sure that those things were done. And if they were not done the right way, I would stand with those residents to take the appropriate steps to rectify and mitigate those issues. Because again, I live that. I have a dog. Can't walk my dog when it rains because the sidewalks and the streets be flooded. So we can't go left, we can't go right. That is a continuous issue for many families here in Miami Gardens, particularly in the Coconut Cay, Andover, Vista Lago, this area over here.
Thank you. This next question is, the current councilman in the seat started having in-person quarterly meetings, but they stopped happening. How would you connect and stay connected with the residents?
Yeah, I mean, I think that quarterly meetings is a great way to stay connected with residents. I think, you know, attending quarterly homeowner association meetings, I think attending monthly crime watch meetings in each of the neighborhoods, and bringing, not just attending to be able to say that I attended, but to bring back information, right, to individuals, so that they know not everybody's on social media, not everybody's computer savvy and all of that. Some people like the old school face-to-face kind of thing, and I believe in that, right? I had a community meeting every month when I was a school leader, right, where parents would come in, I'd get some spaghetti and some hard garlic bread or whatever, and we eat and we talk about not only what was going on in the school, what I needed them to do to help support what was going on into the school. And that's how you build community. That's how you build relationships. That's how you build trust and rapport. So I think that constant communication with residents is imperative.
Thank you. And one of my last questions, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to talk about the hat. I want to talk about the video that was seen across South Florida. And if anybody has not seen that video, go look at it and run my numbers up.
Go look at it, run them numbers up. Yes.
And so I was doing, and if you're a fan of the show, I have been doing an impersonation out of love for me and out of admiration, and also too fun of Queen Frederica Wilson, Paul's mama, the old girl, right?
Old
And
girl.
so I did this reenactment of her endorsement for Commissioner Oliver Gilbert, who is
No, no.
running for her seat.
Do the voice right now for me. Let me hear the voice. Let me grade your impersonation. Because I'm the one. I'm the closest. So let me grade. Let me see how if you got the inflections right when you was, let me hear it right now.
I got a text that says she's watching. I cannot do it.
Let me, if you watching, you gonna hear. Okay, come on, let's go, Mister. This is how we gonna get your picture, Miss Tate. Let's go. Let me hear you. Oh, you know I was gonna turn the tables on you like this. You brought it up. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Come on, sis. What we doing? Let me hear the voice. I know the chat want to hear it. The chat loved it. I know the chat loved it. They want to hear it. They want to hear it.
Look, now that you put me on the spot, it may not even come out that good. Look, let me see.
Wait, do you have the hat with you? Do you have the hat in studio with you?
No, I thought about getting it, but I said I'm not even for the disrespect.
Slipping. So let's hear this voice. Let me hear this voice.
Okay, let me see. Look, Paulie. Wait. Paul, stop laughing. Wait.
Okay, wait.
I am Frederica Wilson, Queen Frederica Wilson, okay? Paulie is running for Miami Garden City Council seat too. Y'all better vote for my Paulie. I'm the queen of this. I started this. Y'all don't want to see it. Hello, everybody. I'm Frederica Wilson. Y'all don't want to do that with me. I'm the queen. I started all this, okay? And it wouldn't be nothing without me. And that's why Paulie is taking the reins. Because he is prepared from watching me.
Yo. First of all, shout out to you for doing that, right? Doing that. She's on here watching you, but you did good. You got to get the inflections a little higher at the end of the sentences, just a little higher. But you did. Listen, yeah, I give that an A- though. That was dope, man. That was dope.
Oh my God. Yo, so people don't know, like, because it was the video went crazy,
right?
And I was like, I wasn't sure. Like, some of the reactions were mixed, right? So I had to call you just to be like, Paul, this is not. And your reaction to it was like so down to earth or whatever. And I told you, I was like, this wasn't from a place of disrespect or anything. I just like, if like your mom has a distinct voice, and here's the thing, I like doing voices, but it's not like that. And so we had a conversation offline, and I was just like, I just want you to know, I apologize if you felt offended. Please get this back to your mom and your sister, your family. Like, that's what isn't it. But it was anything disrespectful out of the way. But I was just making fun. Also, she's a public figure, right? And you were so cool about it. So that's how I know he was laughing, and I was like, Paul. So I'm like, tonight, I want people to know like how you actually felt about seeing me do that and hear that, and the fact that you made me do that I'm never gonna. Your mom's gonna swing on me when she sees me. She's never gonna take this picture with me.
My mama gonna respect that, man. Trust me. She's gonna respect that. And yeah, and I just want to, first of all, yes, I want to shout you out for a couple of reasons, right? Number one, you did reach out during that time and make sure that it was known what your intention was and what have you. And I remember saying to you, you're a journalist, right? This is what you're supposed to do. But I also remember saying to you how proud I was of you, because you have woken up an entire generation of people that may not have been as engaged to what's going on in politics, be it state politics, federal, local, whatever it is, politics in general. But your methods and how you're presenting the information and how you're making it palatable for the people and how you bring it on candidates and having them tell their story and asking them tough questions, like what you're doing, you and it's a few others out there, you know, shout out to Munch them, you know, all y'all doing this thing, and you are creating a platform for people to talk about things that they wouldn't necessarily be interested in talking about, right? So shout out to you. And that's why I told you that day, like, you have done a great job. You and me been rocking for a long time. You've been covering things that I've been doing in the community for a very long time. You know, I remember you covered the Breathe project that we did with the NAACP Youth Council, you know, right after George Floyd. You know, you know about the Beautiful Struggle thing that we did when we brought in the 450 girls into the Betty T. Ferguson Center and all of that. So you've been around and been watching this stuff, and I've watched you. Right. I've watched you be diligent. I've watched you, you know, stay the course and make a contract with yourself that you was going to make it in Miami as a blog. I can't even call it. I don't even like to call you a blogger no more. Right. Like you have elevated beyond that, in my opinion. And just shout out to you and Black media and you doing what you're doing and the consistency that you do it at and the quality that you do it at, man. Shout out to you, for real. I've watched it from the sidelines. I've watched it from standing next to you, and I've watched you grow over the past maybe 10, 11 years. And for you to be here, me to be on your platform tonight, you know, talking about what we're talking about, you know, I think I just salute to you, salute to your team. You're giving young journalists and young entrepreneurs an opportunity to work and learn the game. I think we need an NABJ national, what is it? NABJ. I think you need like a Person of the Year award or something. Where Russell Motley at? Get Russ. She need a Person of the Year award because you've been doing your thing this year around you, Tanya. How you guys are presenting and making this information palatable and tangible for people is awesome. It shouldn't go unnoticed.
Man, thank you so much, man.
Sure.
Wow. So what a way to wrap up. Paul, I just want to give you one last chance to tell the people why they deserve your vote, how they could support you, how they could donate, connect with you, you know, just give your one last, you know, final, you know, word here as we close out the interview.
So, you know, everything you can do all of those things at, you know, paulforprogress.com. That's my website. All of those things are on there to donate and sign up. We're doing the canvassing this weekend. If you want to come out and bang on these doors with me, as I've been doing week in and week out, you know, connecting with residents, really understand. That's the only way that I feel like you can represent the people, if you know what they need and if you listen to them. But as far as, you know, why I deserve your vote, like I said, I'm a homeowner, man. I'm a taxpayer. I'm raising my family here. I was born and raised here. I sit in the same traffic. I pay the same rising costs. I worry about the same public safety issues, right? I want the same thing that everyone else wants, right? Safer neighborhoods, opportunities for my children and your children, and that our tax dollars are being spent wisely. The difference between me and other individuals, you know, is I've spent my entire career learning how to solve complex problems and bring people together and negotiate tough decisions and make large organizations more accountable, right? And I want to use that same skill set, you know, to serve the community that helped raise me, right? And I purchased the house here on purpose. Like, it wasn't given to me. I didn't inherit it. None of that kind. I purchased the house here on purpose because I believe in this community, because it gave me everything that I have. It gave me all of my opportunities, and this is the next chapter of my service. So if you believe in what I believe in, if you believe in progress, on August 18th or on election day, or August 3rd when early voting starts, or even right now, if you got your mail-in ballot at home, you live in District 2, pull it out, Bubble 162, right? I'm Miami Gardens born, Miami Gardens bred, and God willing, when I die, I'm gonna be Miami Gardens dead. So I need your support. I'm rocking out with y'all. I love y'all, and win, lose, or draw, I'm still gonna be here pouring into this community, helping to shape the next generation like I've done for the past quarter of a century.
Come on now. Paul, look, Paul supporters. I see those P5Ps, those P4Ps in the chat. Come on, y'all.
Put them P4Ps in the chat. Run up these numbers, man.
And I gotta give a huge shout out to your wife, beautiful wife. She's always supporting, always great energy every time you see her. Happy anniversary.
That's my best half. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Black love, gotta love it. Y'all put those P4Ps in the chat. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on, always supporting High Low News. Y'all heard to hear from him first. We don't tell y'all who to vote for, but you hear his story and you make the best decision for yourself at the voting booth, and may the best person win. God bless you, Paul, and thank you again. And tell your mama, I said, hey girl, hey.
No, I'm about to go down there right now. My mama we all live in the same community. I'm about to go right down around the corner right now and get her assessment right now.
What does Miami Gardens mean to me? Home. Miami Gardens is home. I remember riding on the back of dirt bikes where Joe Robbie Stadium is, and just watching the growth and the maturation and the glow up, if you will, of the city. It makes me proud to be a son of the city, and it makes me proud that I was able to raise my sons in the city, and then my sons can come back and raise their sons in the city. That's why I'm running. I'm not running for me right now. I'm running for the next generation and putting policies and institutional pieces within our city that will be there long after my term is over, long after my life is over, and I'll continue to serve the people of Miami Gardens and pour back into the same community that made me, that built me, that made me who I am. That's what Miami Gardens means to me. Home.
Hi, I'm Katrina Wilson, and I am running for school board member, District 1. I've been a lifelong educator for more than 30 years, and I have served in Miami-Dade County Public Schools for almost 40 years. I think that I have a depth of knowledge about education and an experience. Education is the gateway to the future. I think it allows you to dream.
Every drop has a purpose. It nurtures more than just our gardens. Protect what connects us. Conserve what sustains us. Because water is life.
Hello, everybody. I'm endorsing Oliver Gilbert because he has always delivered for us, raising wages, delivering paid sick leave, and passing a law to lower water rates.
I'm Oliver Gilbert, and I approve this message because from supporting the 5,000 Role Models program to standing up to Trump, I'm ready to carry on the legacy of Congresswoman Wilson.
Trust me, we need Oliver Gilbert in Congress.
Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your Uncle Zane. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap.